welcome back to the Artisan Homestead. Today is the 1st of March and I wanted to film the first garden tour of this year. So let's start here in our front yard. This is where we've been working quite a lot in the past few days, as our kids had a school holiday the past 2 weeks, so we spent quite a lot of time with them in the garden. Here in our front yard we are setting up a kitchen garden or potager. We've just completed 2 raised beds that we've built with old stones we had left over from the renovations. And here will be the vegetable garden of our kids. Our twins are 5 years old and will be growing some of their favorite veggies in this bed. They chose this spot as it's close to the front door, so they thought it would be easier to think about caring for their plants, as last year most of the veggies they grew failed because they often forgot about them. Why did we build raised beds here? Well, that's because we want to plant mainly things like leafy greens or things we want to pick quick and easy when we set the table or are cooking, even when it's rainy or whatever. We will have these kinds of veggies in our main garden as well. Over there we will also have crops like potatoes, corn, squash and all the things that take up much more space. Also in our front yard we'll be growing a lot of cut flowers. As we are still living in the middle of a renovation chaos and mess, I wanted to make sure I still have some beautiful flowers to draw our attention away from all that sometimes. And they'll add some color and happiness, welcoming anyone into our home, and again, easy access for cutting a few flowers to put on the table. I am now impatiently waiting for the first tulips to bloom. In between the mess of the renovation, we did find these snowdrops. We'll be giving these a new place to grow once they stop blooming, as we'll be repointing and restoring this wall behind it, and we don't want to damage this beauty. Onto our backyard garden. As you can probably already see, it's still pretty empty. We just prepared some trellises, and over fall and winter we mulched most parts of the garden with hay to hopefully kill the grass in order to be able to grow more vegetables here. Right here we have the old wine racks we found in a local thrift shop as trellises for cucumbers or small melons to grow on later this spring and summer. And at the other side of this path we have planted cuttings from that lovely shrub over there. It's a Philadelphias, if I'm not mistaken. And I love its flowers, and the birds really love this plant. It's full of small birds year-round, so we wanted to have more of it. And I don't know if you can see this, but the cuttings are getting their first leaves, so they will be okay. The big arched trellis over here will hopefully have roses growing against it someday in the future, but this year it will probably be used for something like Cyclanthera pedata. The first bed on the right side will become a flower bed. All beds that are hilled are small hugelkultur beds, which I'll be talking about more in the future. The next bed has strawberries from last year, some garlic and artichoke right there in the back. And I did plant some peas in there as well. And then we have these empty beds we created last fall with a stone path in between. At the other side of this path we've put up 2 cold frames. They are open today because it was already getting a little bit too warm inside, which are currently filled with flower seedlings over there and some lettuce and cabbage or brassica seedlings in here. Continuing over here, we have green asparagus with strawberries as their companion plants at both sides of this path. And at the left there was only grass last year, And we will plant potatoes over there this year, and over here we'll probably do some kind of Three Sisters combination of pumpkin, corn and beans, but we might add other plants like peppers too. Continuing this main path, and here is our newly built herb spiral. Once it has the herbs in it, we'll upload a video on the whole process and explain how it works. Over at this side are some more asparagus. And I also planted sweet peas here, but I fear mice or birds ate them all. At this side of the garden and all across that side, we have put in all kinds of cuttings we could find around us, like lots of elderberry, some lilac, some oak, chestnut, blackthorn, some beech tree and holly. If we still have empty spots, we can add willow cuttings too. Over here is our only apple tree, the one we planted last year just after moving in here. We'll continue to learn more about guilds as we go along. For now we have just comfrey here and strawberries and a raspberry plant and some herbs. So not really a guild yet. We also have planted over 100 apple seeds as an experiment, and maybe in 10 years or so we'll have our own apple varieties. Who knows? Here we have the center of our vegetable patch. This is where our chickens have been working whole fall and winter to eat the weeds and pests, and hopefully this part of the garden will be easier to manage this year than it was last year. There's still a lot of grass growing here, as you can see. Even though there is that much grass and it used to be much more last year, we still had lots of pumpkins and winter squash and corn and beans from this part of the garden, even with all its weeds and grass, but we also lost a lot of plants because of it. What's still growing here is garlic and Swiss chard over there, a lot of leeks, and here and there we have some calendula. And here are 2 roses we planted last year. I think these are spring onions, and we kind of forgot about them, so they stayed here all winter. And I think now they are starting to form blooms. I am very, very excited for spring. I can't wait to start planting. So much so that I already started way too many peppers and eggplants and tomatoes indoors. Far too much to plant in our own garden, so we will be using some of the space. Oh, here you can see the birds. See them? So cute. Upsa. Oh, the past couple of weeks a lot of cranes are flying over. They're going north, so that means spring is really there. I'm not sure if I can capture it on camera, but I'm going to try. And I also don't know if you can hear them. Wait, I'll also turn the mic. Look at them. This is a very big group. But I can hear some of them are still far behind. Wow. When the cranes are flying over to the north, spring is arriving. This couldn't be more perfect, right? Yeah, so great. So like I was saying, I'm starting way too many seeds indoors. So I'm going to take up some of the space in my brother's garden. It's over there. This is my brother's barn. He's building a theater barn here. As he is working in Belgium and he's not here all the time, we can use parts of his garden as well. And obviously we will give him lots of veggies in return, but I will talk about that and show you all about it once I'm planting over there. I want to make a lot of garden tours this year, as I like watching them on other channels. I think they're fun and interesting, but also I think they are a great way for us to look back at our garden and see all the changes, as I think this is something a lot of gardeners will recognize this. If you are working in the garden every day, you often don't see what's changing. So you only see it if you look back to some videos or pictures you took a couple of weeks ago, and then you'll see what has changed and what has grown and all of that. If you like to watch garden tours as well, let us know in the comments down below what you would like to see us include in these kind of videos. If you have any questions about our garden, even though there's not a lot growing right now, maybe there are some things you would like to know. So ask away in the comments. I am rambling. I think this is the end of the video. So yeah. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you have a great day wherever you are. And if you're in the northern hemisphere like us, I wish you a lovely start of spring, because spring is definitely coming. The cranes proved it. I will talk to you soon. Bye!